Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Thursday, 6th of February 2025. February 6th is celebrated as the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, FGM. It is a United Nations sponsored day that aims to raise awareness and the end of this harmful practice. Starting the newspaper with the world news, including second United States judge blogs Trump's effort to end the birthright citizenship. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's Bangladesh residence, Dhanmondi 32, vandalized and set on fire report. Days after tariff turn, Trudeau announces Canada-United States Economic Summit to take place on Friday. United States man 22 dies of asthma attack after inhaler price skyrockets from $66 to $539. Parents file lawsuit. After United States, Argentina pulls out of World Health Organization, steers deep differences. Superman co-creators estate shoes Warner Bros. DC Comics for new film. Here's why. Delta Airlines plane collides with Japan Airlines aircraft during the taxiing at Seattle Airport. Shooting reported in the Brussels outside metro station Belgian. Police hunts for gunmen. Egg hazard thieves steal 1 lakh eggs aimed soaring prices in the Pennsylvania. Princess of Wales plays I Spy and walks hand in hand with the pupil into the gallery. Second United States judge blocks Trump's photo and the birthright citizenship. Now starting the newspaper with the Hindu newspaper, Trump signs executive order to bar the transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. United States President Donald Trump cites to sign an executive order banning transgender girls and women from practicing in the women's sports in the East Room at the White House in the Washington, United States, February 5, 2025. With this executive order, the war on the women's sports is over, Mr. Trump said at a signing ceremony in the East Room that included lawmakers and female athletes who have come out in the support of the ban. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Wednesday, February 5, 2025, intended to ban transgender athletes from participating in the girls' and women's sports. The order, titled "Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports," gives federal agencies a wide latitude to ensure that entities that receive the federal funding abide by Title IX in alignment with the Trump administration's view, which interprets sex as a gender someone was assigned at birth. With this executive order, the war on the women's sports is over, Mr. Trump said at a signing ceremony in the East Room that included the lawmakers and female athletes who have come out in the sport of ban, including former collegiate swimmer relay Giannis. Rahim al-Husseini is the name of the new Aga Khan, spiritual leader of Islamic Muslims. Prince Rahim al-Husseini, who was named the 50th hereditary Imam or spiritual leader of Ismaili Muslims. The Aga Khan is considered by his followers to be the direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and is treated as a head of the state. Rahim al-Husseini was named Wednesday, February 5, 2025 as the new Aga, spiritual leader of the world's millions of Islamic Muslims following the death of his father. The 53-year-old was designed as the Aga Khan V, the 50th hereditary Imam of the Ismaili Muslims. In his father's will, his father died Tuesday in Portugal. The Aga Khan is considered by the followers to be a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and is treated as the head of the state. The Aga Khan developed network and the Ismaili religious community announced earlier that His Highness Prince Karim al-Hasni, the Aga Khan IV, and the 49th hereditary Imam of the Shiite Islamic Muslims died surrounded by his family. I'm going to the Hindustan newspaper stated that Supreme Court urged Chief Justice of India to clarify rule on the surrender exemptions. The Supreme Court of India has urged the Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna to issue administrative directions, clarify that applications seeking exemption from the surrounding while filing an appeal in the top court cannot be entertained unless the petitioner has been sentenced to term of imprisonment. The Supreme Court has urged Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna to issue administrative directions clarifying that applications seeking exemptions from the surrounding while filing an appeal in the top court cannot be entertained unless the petitioner has been sentenced to term of imprisonment. A bench of Justice Vikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta underscored the apparent anomaly in the listing of the exemption applications and called for uniformity in adherence to Supreme Court Rules 2030 that lays down the procedure in the matter. To be sure, it is rare for the Supreme Court bench to urge the Chief Justice of India to intervene on the administrative side. Judicial bench typically focus on the adjudication rather than the procedural directives, which fall in the exclusive domain of the Chief Justice of India. However, the bench's call for the uniformity in implementing the Supreme Court rules highlights the pressing need it felt for the administrative clarity to prevent the procedural inconsistencies. Such as non-BJP states oppose drop to UGC rules on the VCs. The states passed a resolution against the UGC regulations at a state higher education ministers conclave the Bengaluru. Ministers from the 6 opposition rural states on Wednesday passed a resolution rejecting the draft UGC regulations introduced by the Union Ministry Dharmendra Pradhan in January month and arguing that the proposed rules undermine the autonomy of the state governments. Welfare schemes inflation main concerns for voters in the Delhi. People cast their vote in the polling station in the Barnoli village in the southwest Delhi on Wednesday. As the Delhi residents turn out to vote on the Wednesday, the polling stations in the city slums and unauthorized colonies were alive with the conversations about a common set of concerns: welfare schemes, inflation, and local development. The voters in these areas said that access to basic amenities and government benefits played a crucial role in their electoral choices. BBIB Delhi, when the stars voted, several prominent political leaders and bureaucrats in the Delhi come out in the early morning hours to vote and motivate others to vote in the assembly elections. President Draupadi Murmu shows her ink-marked finger after voting in the Delhi assembly elections on Wednesday. First citizen of the country, President Draupadi Murmu cast her vote at the polling station in Dr. Rajendra Prasad Kendriya Vidyalaya inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan complex. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar was among the first few voters, and he said that the voting process was the oxygen of democracy, and that India's use of the technology in the polling process is appreciated throughout the world. Chief of the Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi and the Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh Kumar Tripathi also voted in the city. Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena and his wife Sunita cast their vote at the Rajnivas Lane polling center. I am confident that the people will vote in large numbers and choose their government. It is also important because it decides what you want in your city. There are many things in Delhi that are on the people's radar. Pollution is a big issue. Garbage mountains are a big issue. Cleaning of Yamuna is a big issue. I am sure people are voting with all these issues in mind, he added. Elections are crucial in democracy, whether it is Delhi, national or state elections. Every single election is crucial. By exercising our franchise, we demonstrate to the whole world and our own society that we are responsible participants in the democracy, Chandrachud said. Now, going to the economy of the country from the business point of view, India is the second biggest market for open artificial intelligence triple users last year, Sam Altman said. Sam Altman, India visit don't think the world is going to the need any less artificial intelligence hardware, said an OpenAI CEO who is in India as a part of his viral Wind World Tour. Altman was in India last June 2023, and his latest world tour is being seen by many as rush to counter the impact of the DeepSeek achievement. 8,000 candidates joined PM internship scheme in 4 months since its launch. Of the 1.27 lakh internship opportunities listed by 280 companies in the first phase, of partner companies made the 82,077 internship offers of 60,866 candidates. Among the 280 companies offering the internships under the scheme of the Reliance Industries, TCS, HDFC, and the also unlisted entities, excluding luxury automakers like Mercedes-Benz. Every electrified technology hybrid EVs must receive a policy support, Swapnish Maru. He also spoke about China's dominance in the electric vehicles, growing trade protectionism, and a Toyota's partnership with the Maruti Suzuki editor experts. Swapnish Maru, Deputy Managing Director, Corporate Planning, a greenfield project at Tokyo Kirloskar Motor. Now, going to the science and tech, we are excited to do more together. Open Artificial Intelligence CEO tells IT Ministry. In the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vishnu, in a conversation with the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman during a meeting in the New Delhi on February 5, 2025. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said that his remarks in the 2023 that it was hopeless in India to compete in creating a foundational model were taken out of context. In a brief outstage conversation with the IT Minister Ashwini Vishnu, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said that his remarks in the 2022 that it was hopeless for the Indian firms to compete with the United States on building a foundational artificial intelligence model were taken out of the context. Those remarks have been in focus as the Chinese firm DeepSeek managed to build a foundational model with the open artificial intelligence and other leading firms. AI models at a fraction of the cost. OpenAI was really excited to do a lot more than together in India, Mr. Altman said. Mr. Altman cited so-called small language models, which are less expensive to build, and also acknowledged that there decreases in the cost that training AI models had undergone. It is still expensive to train advanced AI models, Mr. Altman considered, adding that to say that at the frontier costs will rise on an exponential curve, but also the returns to increase in intelligence and exponential in terms of the economic value, the scientific value that you can create. Webinar on management of the heavy menstruational bleeding to be held on the February 9th. Webinar as a part of the Healthy India, Happy India initiative. This is the 4th webinar and the 15th part webinar series organized as a part of the Healthy India, Happy India initiative aimed at to prevent illness, promote wellness. Naravi Hospitals Vellore, in a collaboration with the Hindu, in hosting a webinar on the topic of the management of heavy menstruational bleeding at 11:30 a.m. on February 9th. This is the 4th webinar in the 15th part of webinar series organized as a part of the Healthy India, Happy India initiative aimed to prevent illness, promote wellness. During the webinar, eminent speakers from the Naravi Hospitals Vellore will speak on the various topics, while Ibrahim P.D. Khalil, Senior Consultant in Gynecology, will speak on Introduction to Menstruational Disorders and Postmenopausal Bleeding. P.B. Akhil Sastry, Senior Consultant, Obstetrics and Gynecology, will discuss on the pubertal menstruational disorders. And Jaya Sheila, Kamaraj, Consultant, Obstetrics and Gynecology, will speak on the heavy bleeding in the reproductive age. Lightning strikes make the collecting a fungus for traditional Chinese medicine a deadly pursuit. Collecting the fungus is a high-risk, high-reward proposition. Caterpillar fungus hunting has led to at least 31 lightning-related deaths and another 58 lightning-related injuries in the past decade. In the remote Kingahi Tibetan plateau. A rare fungus grows inside a dead caterpillar in the traditional Chinese medicine. This parasitic fungus is prized for its purported medical effects, known as the Ophicordicipus sinensis, colloquially caterpillar fungus, or a Himalayan gold. It can fetch astronomical prices on the herbal medicine market, up to $63,000 per pound. Ophicordicipus sinensis fungus is a parasite that targets the caterpillar, that is the larva of the coast moth. The process begins in the late summer to early fall, when fungal spores infect the caterpillars. Over time, fungal filaments called the mycelia slowly spread out and consume the caterpillars from within, turning them into the hardened, mummified shell by winter. When the spring arrives, the fungus enters its final stage. A grass-like fruiting body sprouts from the preserved caterpillar's head and pushes up the soil. While many traditional Chinese herbal medicine consumers are drawn to fungus for its supposed health benefits, my interest lies in a darker side of its harvest. The deadly relationship between the caterpillar fungus collection and the lightning strikes. As a meteorologist, I study lightning and its impacts on the world. A few factors come together to make the situation on the Qinghai Tibetan plateau so dangerous. A three-step implementation plan that gives thrust to primary prevention of diabetes. Primary prevention is one of the most effective ways to address the growing diabetes epidemic. Screening to identify high-risk individuals using a non-invasive risk score assessment, diagnosis of the pre-diabetic intermediate hyperglycemia, and devising a strategy that includes diet, physical activity, and medication from the core of the plan. An expert group has laid down clinical guidelines for clinicians in India and other Southeast Asia regions to implement primary prevention programs for the type 2 diabetes, drafting a three-step implementation process of screening, diagnosis of the intermediate hyperglycemia, and design and delivery of the personalized intervention. The experts from the different countries have said that the new guideline is present a simplified yet effective approach for the clinicians to identify, sensitize, and treat individuals at a high risk of type 2 diabetes. Halt action for clinicians in the Southeast Asian regions on the primary prevention of diabetes in the people with the diabetes. A consensus statement which has been published in the Diabetes Research and Clinical Practice puts the emphasis on the primary prevention of diabetes. The publication was authored by an international scientific group with the primary contribution from A. Ramachandran and Nandanithan of Dr. Ramachandra's Diabetes Hospital and the Indian Diabetes Research Foundation, Chennai. Dr. Ramachandra is the hospital chairman and the managing director of the Dr. Nandanithan, its director. Top climate scientist declares 2C climate goal dead. The Yukon fire destroys a structure January 7, 2025 in the Altadena, California. An ambitious climate change scenario outlined by the United Nations Climate Panel, which gives the planet a 50% chance of keeping warming under the 2C by the year 2100, is an impossible scenario, Hansen said. Holding long-term global warming to 2 degrees Celsius, the fallback target of the Paris Climate Accord, is now impossible. According to the stark new analysis published by leading scientists led by renowned climatologist James Hansen, the paper appears in the journal Environment, Science and Policy for Sustainable Development and concludes that our Earth's climate is more sensitive to rising greenhouse gas emissions than previously thought. Compounding the crisis, Hansen and colleagues argued is a recent decline in the sunlight blocking aerosol pollution from the shipping industry, which had been mitigating some of the warming. An ambitious climate change scenario outlined by the United Nations Climate Panel, which gives the planet a 50% chance of keeping warming under the 2C by the year 2100, is an implausible scenario, Hansen told a brief on Tuesday. At last, there's a famous scientist known by his famous name, Albert Einstein, a German scientist whose birth anniversary is 14 March 1879, after 18 April 1955, was a German-born theoretical physicist who is best known for his developing theory relativity. Einstein also made an important contribution to quantum mechanics. His mass energy equivalence formula is called m², which arises from the special relativity, has been called the world's most famous equation. Received the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics for his service to the theoretical physics, and especially for his discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect. In the middle of the part of his career, Einstein made important contributions to the statistical mechanics and quantum theory. Especially notable was his work on the quantum physics of radiation, in which the light consists of particles subsequently called the photons. The physicist Satyendranath Bose, he laid the groundwork for both Einstein statistics for much of the last phase of the academic life. Einstein worked on the two endeavors that ultimately proved unsuccessful. First, he advocated against the quantum theory's introduction of the fundamental randomness and the science picture of the world, objecting that the God does not play dice. Second, he attempted to devise a unified field theory by generalizing his geometric theory of gravitation to include electromagnetism. As a result, he became increasingly isolated from mainstream modern physics. Einstein says a very famous quotation. He says that if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or objects. Okay, thank you.